So welcome back. This was the internal relay circuit which we have seen in our previous presentation, right? So I think the inputs here, that is X400, then 401, 402, right? Togetherly they actuate the internal relay, and along with the internal relay coils, one more input, that is S4 in our discussed example, which is here X403, that will actuate the output Y430. This was what we have seen in our previous presentation, right? So in continuation with what we did in our previous presentation, let us look into some more example here, right? So the next example here is concerned with resetting the latch. You can the next example is about resetting the latch. Okay, so we have already seen what exactly is the meaning of latch. Okay, so now we will take one ladder diagram here. So probably from the ladder diagram we should be able to understand how your internal relay is significant in resetting the latch. You can note down this diagram. So I have the first rung wherein I have got one input device, and whenever I speak about the latch, generally I will have a normally closed switch here. Then you can have it like this. This is what we generally have as the latching circuit. Latching circuit we have already discussed earlier. Then comes the output here. Okay, so now let me write it as X400 here, followed by this is M100 and or M100 only I will take. Then here this is Y430 I will take. This is Y430. Then this is also Y430. Latching operation, since we have already discussed it, right? So there should not be any problem in understanding this. Let me take up one more input here, right? So which will trigger your M100 here. So now please see here, in this case this is the output and this is the internal relay. I hope you are parallelly taking these examples also and noting down these examples also, right? So now when you look at this diagram, right? So basically this is meant for resetting the latches, right? So latches means to keep the condition on even when the input is removed, right? In the push button switches and all, basically they are meant for turning on, and they are meant for only for the purpose of turning on, right? So then your output, whatever you have here, let us say that Y430. So one of the coils associated with this output is energized here, even though this push button switch, right, is momentarily pushed here and taken it back. So even though this gets opened, you will have continuity here. So this is what is the meaning of latch. Now we are here for the resetting of the latch. This is a simple example here, right? And though these examples appear to be very simple, when you want to have a consolidated example at the end by considering the different parameter, could it be your sequential function chart, could it be your internal relays, or could it be your retentive relays, which we are going to study subsequently, could it be master control relay, could it be timer, could it be counter, could it be shift register, all these things togetherly constitute for the overall PLC system operation, right? The knowledge of each individual, parts, I mean the simple parts of the overall diagram, it is very essential, right? So here setting the latch or resetting the latch may appear to be simple, but when you use it as a part of a big program, that time you need to know all the minute operations of the setting and resetting the latch. So that is the reason why I always tell you to concentrate on all these things so that they are useful in our subsequent discussion, right? Now, here when X400 in this example, when X400 is momentarily closed, then it is quite easy and understandable that your Y430 exists, right? And now since Y430 exists, it closes the contact of Y430 at the input, and the output remains even when you take off the input X400, right? So now when the second input is closed here, what is the second input is this one, that is X401, right? When the second input is closed, the internal relay M100, that this gets energized. So when it gets energized here, so what happens is this normally closed contact gets opened now. When it gets opened, definitely your output Y430 will be deactivated, right? So this is called as resetting the latch circuit. Latch circuit is already there. If at all you want to reset the latch circuit, instead of, in earlier what we had used is, instead of M100 in our initial examples, we had used some other input, say X402 or something like that, which was coming in some other rung whose contacts are there. Then if at all you want to open this, then you activate this switch, and accordingly this normally closed contacts was getting opened, and you used to have the operation of the output which is getting deactivated. But here in this case, the same task is completed with the help of one more switch, that is X401, and the internal relay. Now you may ask, with the help of only one switch it is possible for us to operate or reset the latch. In this example that may be true, but when you have the different rungs which are there to follow in our subsequent part of the ladder diagram, that time with the help of only one M100, it is possible for you to activate or deactivate different outputs. That is where the significance of your internal relays will come into picture, as I have already told you this in our previous presentation, right? So this is what is one example for resetting the latch, right? So you may get many kind of such examples, and now you may have one more example wherein you have use of multiple internal relays. Use of multiple internal relays, right? So far we have seen only one internal relay in either of the example. Now let us try to see how exactly it is possible for us to make use of multiple internal relays. Let us take a small example as we did earlier. I take the two rungs here. Now I will give one input here. This is one input. Then you have one more input here. Then I have the output in the form of internal relay. Let me call this as IR1. So let me call this as X400 and this as X401. Then in the next rung again I have got one more input followed by one more input, both are ANDed. Here I have got my IR2 here, internal relay 2. So this happens to be X402 here, then this is X403 here. This is X403. Now I will come to this point. This is very important phase now. These two are ORed, and this is my Y430. This is my IR1 and this is my IR2. So hope you can understand this example. And the same example can also be realized using the conventional input and outputs also, which we have already seen. So now you should be in a position to understand what exactly this ladder diagram indicates. You have one internal relay. Let us say that this is M100 and this is M101. These are the two internal relays. So when you have IR1 to be activated, you should have the input either X400 or X401. This is very simple. Similarly, if at all you want to activate M101, then you should have both X402 and 403 activated. Now you look at the third condition. So M100 and M101 are merely the internal relays, they are not the outputs, but they play the role of, the inputs based on some other functionalities, that is on X400 and X400 or X401 or X402 and X403. So based on that condition, you will have, whenever your X400 or X401 is true or X400 or X401 is true, this is one case, one condition, or X402 and X403. These two are true, right? So when these two conditions happen, then only your output Y430 is true. This is what is the condition. Now, as long as you have a couple of rungs or 2-3 rungs, then the significance of these internal relays may not be that appreciated. But when you have too many rungs in the ladder diagram, that time definitely you will come across the reduction in the number of instructions that you are going to write. Otherwise, every time you have to keep checking the conditions for the input switches X400, 401, whether they are ORed, whether they are ANDed, or 402, 403, whether they are ORed, whether they are ANDed, till you get the output Y430, right? So now this Y430 is actuated or activated either by IR1 or IR2, which in turn are based on some different conditions. So this is called as the internal relay operation as long as multiple internal relays usage is concerned, right? So now please try to have these things from the point of view of a practical example, that you should be in a position to use these things whenever some practical examples or practical problems are given to you, right? The methodology will remain same, but only thing is that you will have to properly interpret the problem statement, and accordingly you should be able to draw the ladder diagram and the instructions. Okay, so now We can quickly write the instructions for this as a part of a revision here, right? So again, it is very simple. Probably all of you should be able to write the instructions on your own. The first instruction happens to be LD X 400, as everyone can understand here. Then OR X 401, then M 100. This is the third instruction as long as the first rung of the ladder is concerned. Then again you go to the next LD S 402, A X 403, then M 101, that is the second one, 101. Now 01 is out, 100, then M 101, followed by the last instruction.
By 430. So this is the instruction for the program which I have written here.
I hope you should be in a position to understand this. So I have reduced the size now. So you should be able to understand the significance of internal relays whenever you have their multiple appearance in the ladder diagram. All of you please look into these diagrams and please check whether you follow it or not. Now with this background, let me take up one more small example here. Again, I would start from the ladder diagram only. Let us have the ladder diagram. Some like we will try to interpret this, what exactly this means. So now in the again, as usual, I have got an input device. Now followed by there I have one normally closed device. Okay, so normally closed input device and an internal relay here, and this internal relay contacts are coming here. Internal relay contacts are coming here. So now in the I have one more switch here which is having the output. So now I have one more rung here with two switches in series, they are ANDed, and I have one more output here. Then I have one more rung where I have one switch as well as one internal relay contact followed by one more output here. So this is the ladder diagram. Now let me write the names here. Let us call this as X400 and this as X401, and here this I call it as M100. This I will call as M100. So now that M is again coming here, M100. M100 is again here in the bottom, M100, and this leads, say, Y430. This leads to Y430. Now, here I Y430 followed by M100 here, and this leads to Y431. This is Y431. Now, this is Y431. Then again I M100 here. This leads to Y432. Y432. Please look at this example and try to understand what exactly this example does here. You have got one input switch which is X400, and whenever you have this of this nature, they are generally referred to as stop switches because they are normally closed. So, whenever you actuate them, the entire circuit gets opened. That is the reason why they are called as stop switches. So, now a momentary turning on of X400 will keep your M100 on, that is your internal relay on. So, once your internal relay M100 is on, you have the output Y430 activated. So, now as long as your output Y430 is activated, you can definitely understand that your Y1 also gets activated and your Y432 also gets activated. This is a resembling situation wherein you have got a series of machines. When the first machine begins, based on its output, the second machine starts, the third machine starts, fourth machine starts, so on and so forth, right? A sequential process or the sequential operation. So, now when all the three machines start there, that is Y430, 431 and 432, then if at all you want to stop all these things, so simultaneously you will have to stop because the ladder diagram looks like that, right? So, you have to only operate X401. So, once X401 is operated, as you can see, your M100 is no longer energized. If M100 is not energized, definitely all the other outputs Y430, 431 and 432, they get automatically turned off. So, this is what is called as starting multiple outputs, called as starting multiple outputs. So, you may be asked to devise a ladder diagram with the help of an internal relay to start 4 outputs in a sequential manner and stop all of them simultaneously upon pressing a stop switch. So, this may be the problem statement for what we have written here, right. So, you should be able to link the problem statement with whatever the ladder diagrams that we have written here. So, please write the instructions for this so that you should become familiar with writing the instruction to such examples. So, the first instruction here happens to be
say memory coil, it is capable of storing the previous information. How does it store? By means of the battery backup. Now if you look at this example, this is the same example which I have taken from your book. So you have got input 1 here, then you have got the internal relay IR1 and internal relay contacts coming here, maybe a kind of latching operation, right? So now you have the output actuated by virtue of this internal relay 1. Now in between, if there is a power failure, the internal relay in whatever the earlier position, it might have already come to the next position. So when the supply again comes, so when you process from here, in whatever the earlier position it was, now it may change to some other position which might result in the unwanted turn or unwanted turning off of the output device. In order to prevent such things, right? So the internal relays, if they are having the battery backup or retentive memory coil, what we call it as, right? So even when the supply comes, it doesn't deviate whatever the previous position it was in, right? So that it is possible for you to have the continuation from where it had stopped. A 0 would remain 0 or a 1 would remain 1. So a 0 will never become 1 or 1 will never become 0, which otherwise would have been the case without the battery backed relays, right? So this is what we call it as the retentive memory coil or the battery backed relay. Generally, as long as the battery backed relay is concerned, in our Mitsubishi configuration, we make use of the same suffix here, but they start from 300 to 307. Only 8 such provisions are there as long as the battery backup is concerned, right? M300 to M307, they represent the nomenclature as per again your EC 1131-3. This we have already discussed earlier, right? So these are the internal relay operations, or these are the battery backed relays which have got slightly better significance or the higher significance as long as the safe or the assured operation of the entire process control is concerned, right? So this is one thing, the battery backed up relay, and they are symbolically represented like this. They are symbolically represented as M. Now you can see here, they are similar to your output device only, and there is no much difference between a conventional
internal relay and the battery backed up relay, because they start from M, but they never start from 100, they start from 300 to 307. This is one point to be noted here. Then the next one, which is called as one shot operation. Please try to understand about all these things. They may be a small part in our big programs. Whenever you try to study some of the cases, or whenever you try to give the solution to the PLC applications in the industrial process control, right? So one shot operation or mono shot operation. So what do you mean by this? One shot operation or mono shot operation. So here, unlike the previous cases, right? So you have the internal relays which are having the ability of being turned on or turned off, that resembles your conventional relays that I have already told you while giving the initial definition for your internal relays. They are capable of being turned on or turned off, right? So when they are turned on, when they are turned off, that depends upon some other condition in the system. Maybe one of the switches in one rung, there may be some other switch in some other rung. They may activate or deactivate the internal relays, right? But what we mean by one shot operation here is, here the fixed duration of the pulse, that is going to be always provided for the operation of the internal relays. Fixed duration of pulse means what? Once it is started, so you need not initiate a turn off signal, but once it is started, after some time, right? Maybe what you call it as one cycle of the PLC program. Let us try to see what exactly we mean by one cycle, right? Or this is also referred to as one scan of PLC cycle, right? So after one scan is over, your output is going to be, or your internal relay is going to be automatically changing its position from whatever the previous position it was in, right? So this is what is the meaning of one shot operation. Now before the one shot operation from the point of view of the internal relays, first let us try to see this example which will give us an idea about what exactly a one shot operation means. Okay, here you have got two rungs. Okay, now when the trigger input occurs here, okay, you can see when the trigger input occurs, and definitely it will give a trigger output. Let us not bother or worry what exactly is this trigger input. It may correspond to some action which triggers some output or something like that. And you can see there in the first rung you have got three elements. One is the trigger input, another is called cycle control. Okay, cycle control is a normally closed switch here. As you can see, the cycle control is a normally closed switch. So this normally closed switch will remain closed only because its control appears in the next rung. We have not yet come to the second rung. We are in the first rung itself. Please try to understand this, right? So the cycle control will remain closed only. So as long as there is a trigger input, there will be a trigger output. So now that trigger output starting from somewhere here. Okay, I will draw a bigger diagram. Once the trigger input is actuated, your trigger output starts, right? And it will remain on as long as you go to the next rung, until you go to the next rung. So when you come to the next year, that is the rung 2, the trigger input is always present because it is the same trigger input which was there in the first rung also. So now you can see here I got the cycle control here. Suppose this cycle control activates now. Okay, when does it activate? When the trigger input comes for the second rung also, simultaneously are activated. So now since the output appears in the first rung, for some time the output will remain on, right? How long it is on, that all depends on what is your PLC cycle or what is your scan cycle. Now let us say that the first rung executes for say 1 second. This is an example, right? Now after 1 second, before the first second begins, your output will start here, right? Now at the same time, in the second rung also, the same input is activated. But though the same input is activated, it is not for us to have the simultaneous operation in both the rungs, because we have already seen the convention of operation of the ladder diagram. The power rail starts from the left hand top, it goes towards the left hand right hand top, then it will come to the next rung to the left hand, then again it will go something like this, then it will come here, then it will go here. So in this process there is some time elapsed. So that time is the PLC cycle time, or what I earlier mentioned as scan time. That all varies from PLC to PLC. Now what happens is, after that scan time is over, put here